Do you own a cafe, or you want to know if your current coffee supplier is right for you? Maybe you're going to open a cafe, you're trying to decide which coffee supplier to use. In this video, I'm going to take you through what you need to consider when choosing a coffee supplier. Choosing a coffee supplier can be exciting, daunting, and confusing all at the same time. So it's my job here at RTC to talk to all our new cafe partnerships inquiries, and there's often a lot more detail that I like to discuss other than the usual first question of how much does your coffee cost. So I do need to disclose that we here at RTC are a coffee supplier. We roast our own coffee, we supply cafes. This is not a biased video, it's simply a guide to asking the right questions to determine if a certain supplier is right for you or not. And to be honest, we're not always the right choice for everyone, and that is okay. These are the questions you need answers to find the right supplier for you and your cafe. Where are they located, and does it really matter? Using a local supplier shows that you support local, which is a great message for your customers. If they're close by, it's easy for you to access their team and get stock if needed. However, depending on where you live, you may have limitations on your options for roasters. You might also want a point of difference from others around you. So you can always look outside of the area. Just ask if the supplier is happy to travel to you so you can still receive great support. Often suppliers will use local technicians to ensure you're supported with equipment, maintenance, and emergencies. You may find that the training and support is of a higher quality than local options, so quality over quantity might be the best option here. Do you and your customers love your coffee? Yes, you need to love the coffee that you're serving, but let's not forget that it's your customers that must love it the most. It's always best if you can try their coffee before you commit. If they don't have a cafe close to you, travel to them for a tasting, order some coffee online, or request a sample. What is the quality of their coffee? Not all coffee is of the same quality, and you need to be aware of this when choosing the beans and looking at coffee pricing. Coffee suppliers use different coffee beans from all around the world, from different suppliers, and they can massively vary in quality. You need to ask your supplier what the quality of their green bean is, because this determines whether you're using commercial grade coffee or specialty coffee, and therefore how good the coffee you're serving is going to taste. Higher quality coffee beans will produce a higher quality flavor, and it also ensures consistency with each roast. Now, this is not talked about enough, and it can have a huge impact on the end result of the coffee you're serving, and it will also help you understand why you're paying what you're paying for the coffee you're serving. Do they roast the coffee themselves, or do they contract roast? You need to decide if this is even something you care about. Do you want to have a connection with the roaster and be able to visit a roastery and assess the coffee with them? If that isn't important to you, then it's fine. There are plenty of great suppliers out there for you. Do you have access to the roasters to learn about the coffee you're serving? This may or may not interest you and your staff in getting this extra training, but if it does, ensure you can access this resource and get in touch with their roaster and their team to support you in your business. Now, how much support can they give you before and after you open? Support through training, business advice, and equipment is a big part of the coffee industry, and it's now often the thing that sets roasters apart. Find out how much support and extra services you can get to support you and your business for free, or do you need to pay for it? If it's free, you need to consider how much value this adds when looking at the cost of the coffee and comparing different roasters. Do they provide training, and at what cost? So getting training on how to dial in, set up your recipe, troubleshoot, and ultimately make great coffee is crucial to the success of your business. Do they offer training? How much does that cost you? Is it just coffee training, or is there business development training that you can access? And how much of this is free, or how much do you need to be prepared to pay for? Check if they have a range of coffee and retail options to choose from. If you want to serve a range of blends and single origins and sell retail, you better make sure that they have these available. If you just want to serve one great blend and you have no need for the extras, you may be able to look at a simple, more cost-effective supplier. And do they provide information that helps train your staff and inform your customers as well? You're going to be really busy and busy enough that running your cafe. The more help you can get with marketing, the better. So see if your supplier can help with promotional material, branded merchandise like umbrellas and signage, and check if there is a cost to you for these items. Now, do they sell other products like syrups, cups, chocolates, other things you're going to serve in your cafe. You may be happy to source all of your stock from various suppliers to get the brands you want, or you may want to use someone that you can go to for more than just coffee. Ask about what other products they sell, what brands they sell, and get samples to test if you can. Are their staff experienced and able to give you industry knowledge that will help you? Do your research on their team. Make sure you're working with coffee people with experience. Find out who you'll be working with and if you have access to that knowledge to help grow your cafe. Are their facilities up to industry standard? Are they investing in their facilities to be able to help better serve you and improve their product and service? Have a look at their roastery, their factory, their office, their cafes. Their equipment and processes are what's going to ensure your coffee tastes great and is consistent with every roast. So I'd make sure that it's of a high standard. Now, do they offer equipment, and what equipment do you get access to? Find out what your options are for equipment, including free on loan, discounts for purchases, or rental options. Make sure they're giving you advice that is personalized to your cafe and suits you and your business best. It's always great to know what equipment they know best, and if it's of a high standard for specialty coffee. Make sure they are able to support the equipment they recommend too. Do they do servicing, and what are the costs involved? Emergency support by phone, after-hour support, and having technicians on the road is crucial. So find out if they have their own technicians or if they'll be outsourcing and who they'd be using. You will want to know what costs are involved in this too. How do they manage their orders, invoicing, and accounting? Find out how you'll be placing your orders to ensure that they have an efficient way of ordering, managing invoices, and making payments. Is there a minimum order required? How often can you order? What is their roast schedule? Asking this ensures that there's no surprises later. What is the future of their business? Are you joining a roaster that is improving and growing and therefore adding value to your business? The last thing you want to do is sign up to work with a roaster that isn't keeping up with the industry, and your roaster's reputation can have either a positive or negative reflection on your cafe. So are you confident that they will be around as long as your business? Look into who owns the business, how long they've been trading for, and discuss their stability. You want to make sure that they're in it for the long run. Do you align with their culture, vision, goals, and their ethos? Most roasters will share with you what they believe in. From sustainability to supporting locals, ensure that you align with their values and what's important to you. Do the other cafes they support reflect the style and vision that you have for your cafe? Do your research on other cafes using their coffee. Do they look like a cafe you'd like to be associated with? If you can, go to one of their cafe partners and see if you can try the coffee, and hopefully ask the owner how they find working with that supplier. Do they have good reviews and testimonials from their customers? Do your homework online from Google reviews to see customers' feedback and get a feel for their popularity and their quality. Do they have a network in the industry you can use to stay ahead of the game? If you're interested in networking with other coffee lovers, and your coffee roaster can be a great way to do this. Find out what their industry connections are and if they host events that you can go to, or do they have good relationships with other suppliers that can be to your advantage. Do they have a community, an audience that they can use to direct people to your cafe? Especially if you're a new cafe, a good social post to a large audience can really help. See if they have a following, and if you can use this to help grow your cafe. And what other services do they offer? You might be surprised to find out what other services they offer and that you can access. They may be able to help you with your fit out, your marketing, even graphic design, and saving you money, adding more value to your business. It may be in your best interest to find a supplier that can provide more services to help reduce the number of suppliers that you have. Do they offer coffee, training, services, accessories, support, all in the one place? Or do you need to find other suppliers where they can't help you? What are you committing to? It's likely that if you're getting equipment supplied, you'll be going into a contract. Now, this isn't a bad thing. Don't be scared of it. It often ensures the supplier is investing in your business from the start with the intention of working with you long term. Just find out what their contract terms are and make sure it aligns with the time that you plan on staying in your cafe. If you don't have any intentions of staying in the business for long, make sure you let your supplier know that so they can tailor a solution that best fits your timeline. What equipment do you want versus what can you afford? To know what equipment you need, you really need to know how busy you're going to actually be. However, you may also just have your eyes set on particular equipment no matter how busy you get. So discuss with your roaster and supplier what your equipment options are. If you need to buy it or if they can supply it. It's even better if they can help you make this decision based on their experience and your budgets. Can you afford to buy your own equipment, or do you need a supplier that can provide equipment? There's always pros and cons to owning your own equipment or being supplied equipment, so it depends on a range of things that is different for everyone. It comes down to whether you can afford your own equipment or if you need a supplier that's willing to make that early investment in your business. There are also ongoing costs for servicing and maintenance of your equipment that you need to factor in as well. And what are those upfront and ongoing costs? Ask what they foresee you having to pay for at the start. You need to be prepared that if there are costs to your business like training, installation, or equipment before you start trading, then once you're open, what else do you need to budget for throughout the year? Find a supplier that is honest and has your best interest at heart. Now, what's included in the price of your coffee and what will you get charged for? You may be surprised how much value is packed into the price of your coffee. Many roasters will offer lots of additional support, training services without extra charges. This can reduce your ongoing costs. If they're not included, you'll need to work out what the costs of these are to your business long term. And lastly, how much is the coffee and what does that price include? I've left this question till last as it's often the first question people ask, but the last question to be answered based on all of the previous questions we've just covered. You need to consider all of the value that's included from your supplier. Remember that this price is also based on the quality of the coffee, and the cheaper the coffee isn't always the best. Now, with all of these questions answered, you should now be prepared to make a decision that suits both you and your cafe. Click on the link in the description if you'd like to know more about working with us. If you want us to continue to make these videos, best way to support us is by going to artisti.com.au and buying our coffee, hitting the subscribe button, liking this video, and clicking on the bell icon, and even leaving a comment is a great support to us, and we'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I hope this video has been really helpful. I'd love to hear your feedback and other questions that you've had in the past when looking at suppliers, and any advice that you can give to someone else that is looking at changing coffee suppliers or opening a cafe and making this big decision. Reach out if we could be of any help to you, and I will see you next time. Cheers, bye.